Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue with a new Maribel Blue Unfiltered, and this is the interview portion of Unfiltered. I know I don't do it that much, but when I do, it's very exciting because I am only going to get the best guest for you. And today we have a very, very special treat. But before I introduce my guest, let me just say if you are new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. This is the fun, unfiltered channel where I talk about different variety of topics, which includes reality TV, because I love to talk about all of that stuff. And of course, I love interviewing people on different spectrums of the world, whether it be music, whether it be psychology, whatever the case may be. But my favorite topic is hauntings and the paranormal. And if you are not new, welcome back. Let's get started. Let's not waste any time. Today's guest I had seen on Slapped Ham, and I started following her immediately on TikTok. It's Jen Ferrari. She lives at an undisclosed location. I'm not even going to say like where in the United States. I just want to say upfront that if you are following her on TikTok, if you are following her on her YouTube, please respect her privacy. I know that there are a lot of people that go on TikTok, they disclose their hauntings, they talk about where they're located at, but not specifically. And then, of course, the curious mind, people want to go over there. They want to see for themselves. They want to debunk stuff. Whatever the case may be, please respect the privacy of her property. But let's get into what has been going on, because let me tell you, when I started following her account, it was like an obsession. The things that she has been capturing on her property, it's just crazy, mega active. And I love this stuff because I've been to Bobby Mackey's and I've lived in a haunted apartment for 8 years, which a lot of people don't know. And I have all of the EVPs to prove it. So welcome, Jen, to
Thank
Unfiltered.
you. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, before we even get started, let's talk about, because I wrote some questions down. Let's talk about the history of the property. What have you found out without getting into specific details about locations or what have you, like whatever it is that you want to share? What was the history that you found out of the property that you own today?
So before I even get into the history, I just want to say regarding disclosing the location, there are a multitude of reasons why I don't disclose of the location, including my safety, my,
Of course.
yeah, common sense. But I do plan on eventually having the property researched and studied by professionals, different professionals, and I do plan on eventually doing it justice by having it documented properly and disclosing of it in a proper way, because it'll make sense. But to get into the history, it was built 1742 on Revolutionary War grounds, native grounds. And some of these farms had assisted in the Underground Railroad. Some are confirmed. This property was not confirmed. So I just want to clear that up because I had initially, been told that this farm was definitely one of them.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Allegedly, it assisted in the Underground Railroad, which led to like occult activity happening on various properties around the area. Yeah, and it's a wild. It's got really rich history. It's a really spooky area, and I wish I could disclose of it so badly. Really
I
do.
know, but we have to do it, for the safety. Sorry, I'm taking off my bracelets for the safety of your well-being, because sometimes I think what's scarier than a ghost is a real life person,
Right.
especially when you don't know their motives or anything of that nature. So that's one of the main reasons why.
Right.
And I mean, we know that you're protected.
Uh,
So, again, don't be stupid and trespass, because if people have the right to protect their property, they will. End of story. And I
Right.
get that. I live out here in Arizona, and you're not seeing people trying to break in.
Right. And there you go. There you go.
Like somebody said, somebody had said in a group that I used to be involved in, if you want to leave with a toe tag, that's up to you.
Right, right. Honestly, I live by Texas rules when it comes to that. And I'm not, I believe in gun regulations. I'm not like an NRA like person. I don't believe in gun violence, but I believe in the right to protect myself and the right to bear arms for the protection of myself, my family, my property. So don't come to my property
Right.
uninvited.
Absolutely.
That's that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when you started to discover the history of the property, what prompted you to look at the history? Did you find that you were experiencing activity? Was it like a low level activity that maybe you put something down and then you go back, it's not there? I'm just using that as an example. I don't know if that's something that actually happened.
No, so, I had known of, the area is well known for its history and for the Revolutionary War and, other things. So I'd known that there was some history here. I didn't know of, the hauntings. And, you know, these occurrences prompted
Mhm.
me to like dig deeper and to talk to locals and neighbors and stuff like that. But yeah, look, when we first moved in, sorry, that's my cat making.
No, I can't hear her, but it's okay.
um when we first moved in, like I know I would always hear what sounded to me like my wife and I used to always walk on a certain night. We would walk the garbage cans down the driveway, and it's a long driveway, but we would walk the bins down the driveway, and it makes this kind of noise, and I would hear it at night, and I would just chuck it up to the wind. And the garbage cans are locked in a garbage shed, so there's nobody like walking down our driveway. We had, initially installed 18 cameras. There was no way, but I just didn't think much of it. Lights would flicker, not as badly as they do now, but they would flicker. You
Right.
could hear like little things, but nothing crazy. And then it just gradually just kept going and going, and getting crazier and crazier and more intense and just kind of abrasive, like in your face. So
One of the things that I think people are genuinely concerned about is that you have a child
yes.
and you've seen her react to things in her room. How does that make you feel? Like, don't you feel helpless? It's do you feel scared for her? Do you ask her what does she see? What's going on? Because we when we learn about the paranormal, we learn that animals, especially cats, have like that third eye where they can actually see the spirit, that children that are still in a vulnerable state can still see and communicate with spirits. So what were the thoughts that was going through your mind when you saw things were happening in her room with her being there?
So the first time it had happened, she was standing on her bed, staring like straight at the camera in the corner of her room. And my initial reaction was just like she's maybe sleepwalking. And then I'm Jewish, so hence the star, which we talked about earlier. You
Yes.
point, but I'm a worrier, so I go straight down like the rabbit hole of hypochondria, and I'm just like she's having a seizure. So I took her to get medically evaluated just to
Hmm.
make sure nothing was happening. And I even had her like talk to a therapist. It made me feel hopeless or helpless, hopeless, helpless, embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I didn't really want to share that video. It's
Hmm.
embarrassing. I felt like I failed in protecting my child, and like I knew weird things were happening, but yeah, I should have removed her sooner. After that, she was gone, and then things had calmed down. And the second time, she sat up and her door flung open to her little, we call it her baby room. It's like a little playroom, and I don't know what she said, but yeah, it felt like even worse because I brought her back here. Like, why would we do that? Why did I
Mm-hmm.
do that? I really, I had a hard time, like, when she continuously was asking me why she couldn't come to the farm for Christmas, and I had a really hard time saying no to her. And that, I think, was just like the generator maybe. But
Are you the one moving the camera?
no. Is it moving?
Did you see it dim a little bit?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, was that the generator maybe? Could have been the generator. I don't know. I don't know why the generator would be on because it's not like storming. The power didn't go out.
And I'm saying, I know it's not me moving because if I was moving, you would have only seen me move.
This happens a lot. Like, my camera will go, like, I'll have it focused on something or on nothing, and it'll begin to focus on something like repeatedly and just go in and out and in and out and in and out. And it's really crazy. But yeah, my daughter won't be coming back here. She's back in the city. My wife is back in the city, and she won't be back until this is completely resolved. And if it's not completely resolved, she'll never be back. Luckily, you saw that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on, but yeah, I see it.
Shit. My daughter has no knowledge of it. Sorry.
There,
Mhm.
there it is. I'm getting goosebumps on my end. Like I have goosebumps right now.
Oh.
I knew it was going to start because your camera was moving.
Mhm.
Okay, let's continue. They're back on. Let's continue. So not her not being there. How what was that?
The bell, did you hear that? Did you ever see the bell video?
No.
That was the bell. That's the fucking bell. I hate I hate to say it, but hello. Hello.
If you don't follow her on TikTok, this is exactly what she does. She says hello.
I always swear there's gonna be a person who answers me
That's
back.
gonna respond back.
Should be like,
Does that door ever open or close on its own?
which door?
The door straight ahead where you have the camera pointing.
Oh, yes, but I chuck it up to it being the cats, honestly, because it's like, do you fucking hear that?
I Oh my god. No. No, no, no. I have goosebumps. No, no, no.
Yo, hello. I'm so sorry this is interrupting your
Oh
interview.
my god, I'm so scared.
Do you want to see the bell? Like, damn. Oh, sorry, my hair is in the way.
But what's that on the floor?
This is the bell. So I it came with the property and it's really fucking old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told by a bunch of like TikTok followers that spirits don't like bells, so I leave it by the front door. And there's the cat. Hi, buddy. You okay? I'm curious. There's like nobody in here. Like, I promise you. I hope not. That would fucking suck. Yeah, I don't know. We can go in this room if you want. There's the laundry room. Sorry, I'm bugging out a little bit, so I'm trying to check everything. This is where my mom like keeps her stuff when she comes and stays. But I should record my mom when she's here, like, and she deals with this, because she's like your typical like New York Jewish mom, and she's a riot. Like, it's just really funny. It makes me like feel like a little better when it's going on. It's fucked up to say, just because she gets like, she's just so funny about it.
Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, I was taught by Jewish teachers. I lived in a heavily populated Jewish neighborhood, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. It's you. You heard that too?
That door was closed.
Wait, which door?
That door straight
Oh,
ahead
no,
of you.
we just went in there.
Oh, okay.
You heard that?
Yeah.
You want to know something crazy?
What's that?
I really feel like it, like it. I don't know what it is, but it likes like when I film, or when I like, use my like phone, or when I'm on the camera, or I feel like it, or maybe it doesn't like it. Like, I don't know.
Like it wants to be heard.
Yeah, yes, that's what it feels like to me. Like it wants to be heard. It wants to be heard.
Okay. So we're going to go back to your daughter and not being there, and how that has affected your relationship with her. Like, do you get to see her every day?
No, sucks. Shit, my computer's gonna die. I'm so sorry. Let me plug it in. I'll just sit in the office.
Okay.
I don't get to see her every day. She was in school here, and she had to be taken out of school here and put into a school in the city. And now my office is a mess. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
When I'm not working here, I go there. And if I'm not working somewhere else, if I don't have to travel for work, I go right there. And I try, when we all have free time, I try to, be with them ultimately, and get away with them out of the city, away. Just, we're going to be gone on the 23rd for a week, because I don't get to see them. And it's like, I'm like overcompensating by trying to just get,
Mm-hmm.
let's go somewhere fun and get away and have a little vacay. But it's shitty. It makes me feel like a piece of shit.
Do you feel a sense of attachment to the property because you're there mostly all of the time? There's always, like I said, the paranormal community, when somebody lives at a certain property, they seem to become attached to the property.
Right.
they can't leave the property for whatever reason that is. Do you feel that way most times?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's not so much that. I think people, you know, I'm sorry. I think people think that I have, that I'm insane for, wanting to keep the property. I do have an attachment to it. It's supposed to be, a family compound for my parents and my in-laws and my siblings, and I want to leave it to my daughter, and I want my grandchildren here, and that's what I would ultimately like. But I'm just really stubborn at this point, and I feel like people need to understand that the property is on a preservation and it's listed. It's on the market, but it's on a preservation. You have this main house, and then you have a colonial house that's like, 5,000 square feet, and it's old, and there's other structures. And because it's on a preservation, it can't be subdivided.
It has
So,
to be sold all as one unit, so to speak,
yeah.
as
And
one property.
I bought it during COVID for a good price, but
Mhm.
the broker told me I was a fucking nut because I have one child and a wife, and she said, "What the like? What are you thinking?" Basically, there's two main houses. It's a lot of work. It needs renovations. Like, it's a lot to take on, and it's going to be hard to sell. She told me that.
Mhm.
And I told her I was never going to sell it because it was going to be kept in the family forever. So,
Well, in essence, that is your prerogative. If you feel that, and this is just my own personal opinion,
yeah,
if you feel that nobody is getting hurt, it's not fun to be spooked all the time, especially every night, because that can do damage on people, especially if you're not sleeping well and you need a good night's sleep.
right,
But if your prerogative is to stay in the house to keep it within the family, I mean, I get it. If I knew that I could have a property where there were like other houses around and it was all one property, sure, I would do it. I would have a compound myself,
right.
because I feel like people can have their own space. You can have your family, you won't be alone, but yet you have your own privacy of space when you want to be alone and your
Exactly.
family is not in your face.
That's
So
what it
I
was.
completely understand that.
Yeah, that's, my parents are getting older. My wife's parents are getting older. We're totally intended, like, so we could have space, but also take care of like our parents basically, and all, like, be in one place if need be, God forbid. And
Mhm.
it's sad because I'm the only one here, you know, like, you, and some, like, occasionally my dad will come and check on me, and he like checks the property. It's really cute with his little flashlight. I'm like, what the fuck are you, like, what are you going to do? And my
But those other properties are empty. There isn't any furniture in there or anything like that.
there's furniture there. So the colonial house, we were able to furnish the bottom floor. Some of it's like covered up because they're still doing some like painting left, and we had to stop renovations, but
Mhm.
for a little while. But the second floor and third floor are completely, like, just, they need to be there. We gutted them. We got that far.
Take me from the beginning when things started to happen. Obviously, you speak very freely about your lifestyle. You're
Yeah.
married to a woman, you have a child. Did you think in your mind when things started to happen that maybe neighbors or somebody caught wind? Oh, there's like a lesbian couple living in this place. Let's go and harass them or whatever. Did that ever cross your mind?
So, not the initially, I thought I was being pranked by my friends because I love to prank my friends, and they love to prank me. and we just, my siblings, we all, do that. You witnessed that in the pre-interview. Like, I thought my brother was part of it
Yes.
when he was here with the lawyer. Yeah. So I was like, I was calling my guy friends every night, like, where are you? Their wives every night, like, where are they? You send me proof. I never thought it was an issue of homophobia with neighbors because it's a super gay friendly area actually. There's
Mhm.
a lot of gay couples with kids and just in the area. I did think that because I had an incident over hunting with a neighbor, that maybe it could have been something related to that, but um, you know, I she had also thought the same thing, and it, there are things that were definitely done by her and her hunters or tenants, which she's not allowed to have because it's a preservation, but she gets away with that, so I shouldn't even get into that. But
So,
yeah,
in essence, you were doing your own debunking. You were
yeah,
trying to rule out every possibility because you caught not too long ago, you caught like a man yelling through the woods, or at least what it sounded like a man.
yes, and also the first video I posted, like, if you look through the comments, like I didn't realize it at first, but when I realized it, I'm the first one to point it out. The timestamp skips. So that made me feel like, okay, this is a fucking human. They breached our security system.
Mhm.
I went through a whole, like, just spun out into craziness. I swore it had to have been somebody we were close to who could have gotten the information, and or somebody who, was technologically that advanced to breach our security system, but was never proved. There was never evidence. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I heard somebody screaming in the woods, and yes, my neighbor, she called the cops on me because she said that I was screaming in her woods and
Mm.
doing things in her woods at like, all throughout the night at like crazy hours of the night or early in the morning. Why would I be out there in the pitch black, like
Right.
running around screaming in the woods?
Mhm.
I go out there now and I film and I'm by myself and I look insane, but I'm not that insane to just like freely go out and just run screaming through like, come on. So, I don't, that could have been revenge because she thought I was doing
Right.
weird thing. Who knows? Some of it I definitely think there's an explanation, that a
Yeah.
logical explanation, but
So your mind doesn't veer off right away that it's something that's paranormal. You try to find the logic in it of what it could be
yeah,
before you think, okay, then maybe it could have been paranormal.
I try to. Like what just happened now with the bell and with the lights, that's paranormal. And like
Mhm.
I've grown so accustomed to it, and I've grown like such a connection and sensitivity to it almost, that I feel like it threw the bell. Like, I don't want to get into it, but like the bell has like deeper meaning in it.
Mhm.
Like it like really wanted attention, like we spoke of earlier. Like it's
Right.
saying something. I just need to figure out what it's saying. There are definitely things that are 100% paranormal, and I don't really try to debunk it. Other things, I think I just refuse to believe. They're just
Mhm.
too much for me to process.
What is your sleep pattern like? Because I know when I lived in my apartment, like once it became apparent that there was more than one spirit there were a lot of the times that I didn't sleep very well, or I felt like I was being pushed down while being in an almost awake state. Has things like that ever happened to you?
So I don't have I don't sleep well to the point where like my doctor has tried to convince me that I need to go on medication.
Mhm.
strong, like ambient type shit. And like, okay, that would be fun, but
Right.
um, I'm not, I just would rather not. I take Benadryl sometimes to knock myself out because I don't really sleep. There are nights that I'm so tired that I probably sleep through a lot of things that are happening. I have reoccurring dreams that are really intense and scary. And when I'm in the city with my wife, she actually has videos of me I can send to you, or maybe I can post them. Maybe it'll be of interest to people where, and I've never done this, but I'm like making crazy noises and movements in my sleep. And it's like we used to, like, we didn't correlate them, the two, but we thought it was funny initially. We would send it to like her sister and like our friends, we thought it was funny. I was like punching but yeah, I have like some weird dreams, and I've never felt like I was being held down.
Mhm.
Um, I've never had that experience.
Oh, it's not fun.
No, I'm sorry
It's
that you have.
it's not fun, and I'll disclose this because this is gonna be the first time that everybody is hearing it, but it wasn't apparent to me. I didn't see the pattern until I think maybe a few years ago.
Yeah,
I would hear like a scream, but it would be like a very hollow scream. I can't even describe the scream. I wouldn't be able to do it myself because
right,
it would sound very far away. And then once it would start happening, I knew what was going to happen next. And
right.
I would feel myself not being able to get up from the bed. But now it's almost as if now that I know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
I start moving right away, like I start fighting it so that it doesn't hold me down.
That's super interesting that you say that, like, what's gonna happen, I had experiences like that as a kid, actually. I never thought about that. And I used to like, I remember always being intrigued by the fact that, I was in like a deep sleep, I guess, but I was like so aware that
Mhm.
of what was gonna happen and when it was gonna happen. And it was very physical too. There were like, I used to also get migrainal seizures, and it would happen at the same time, and I knew
Mhm.
it was going to happen, and it was so super weird, super weird.
It's very scary. I was going to ask something and now it totally escaped me. And like I'm going backwards with my questions because I was asking how it affected your family. So we talked about that. Oh, I was going to talk about the debunking, like when I was at Bobby Mackey's, the recording that
Right,
I sent you.
right,
And I was with his manager. Like we were both downstairs in that basement, and he was turning on and off the camera. I guess that's his way of editing. Like I think about it now cuz some people don't know how to use editing tools. Like I learned because I knew I was going to be doing more videos, so I wanted to learn how to edit without relying on somebody else and having to pay them whatever.
right,
And for him, he was just turning on and off the camera while I had a recorder on, going on consistently. So when I heard the recorder go on and I captured that get out voice, and I'm back in my hotel room because I'm there, I'm present. You heard the whole entire thing. Like I just kept talking. Like you hear, get out. And I'm still like, la, 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 like talking. I
right,
never heard that with my own ears. And it was three times that it said, different times it said, get out. And that one was like the longest one. When I was in the hotel room and I heard it, my first reaction was I threw the tape recorder because it freaked me
no, I
out
feel you,
that
I feel
I
you.
that I captured that. And then of course I'm listening to it again and I heard him turn on the camera and I'm like, did he do it? And I was so suspicious that I called him up and I was like, Robert, did you make that get out? He was like, no, ma'am, I would never do anything like that. And he's a skeptic. Like, he does not believe in all that, but he knows that people have captured
Right.
stuff while being there. Whether he had personal experiences, I think for him, he looks at it like, yeah, it's happening, but like, I guess he explains it away. Whereas I was trying to figure out, did he do that on purpose? But then I was saying, well, if he did that on purpose, I would have heard it with my own ears, which I didn't.
Right. Right. It's weird. There's a lot of things that I don't hear or see that thankfully I have, such an amount of followers that are pointing things left and right out to me that it's like, I'm really blessed for that because yeah, it's weird how that works. I
Yeah. Well, you're going to have your followers who are truly committed, who are interested in the paranormal, who are sincere, who
right,
probably are watching the videos and listening, because that's what I do when I watch anything paranormal. There are times that my favorite, YouTubers that I've been following for a number of years now, I have my headset, a
right,
lot of the times I live with my family. A lot of the times they'll just like come in if I have the door a little bit open, and they'll come in and just scare the shit out of me where I'm like
yeah,
screaming my head off
yeah,
because I don't hear them coming in because I have the
yeah,
headset on. But I'm one of those people that I will listen for the EVP. And a lot of the times I can make out what it is that they're saying. And I guess it's because I've been doing it for so long that I could just make it out. So
I'm
you're going to have,
curious what you'll hear because I feel like I'm hearing things around me, but
I am dying. Like, once I download this, I know I'm going to throw on my headset. I have another video that's going up this week that I need to put up because this is going to go up next week.
okay.
But I'm dying to hear what
I
that
mean,
voice was earlier because that was scary.
you heard that, right? That was
It
a
it
voice.
was a man's voice. I heard it. I
Okay.
don't know what he said because I didn't have my earphones on, but
Okay.
it was loud and clear,
Okay.
that
I
voice.
thought it was just like a more of like a whoosh kind of
It didn't sound that way. And
like in my
I'm hoping that I could figure out what he said because he said something.
oh, I can't wait. Okay. I'm so intrigued. I thought we were recording this too, damn it. Okay.
No, you know what? I wanted to say you're like this even keeled person. Like, you have this serious haunting going on. Somehow you just remain calm. Are there people in, because I don't read all of the comments. I don't know if you have time to read all of the comments. Have you ever captured any comments that maybe were like mean spirited? Do you just ignore them? Do you respond to them?
You know what? I try not to. I do try to read as many comments and respond to as many people as possible because I
Mhm.
find that like the one blessing that came from this. And mind you, I hate people. I'm like a kind person, but I really don't like people. I love animals. I'd rather be around them than people. Um, but I really think the beauty in all of this is that, I got connected to like, thousands and thousands of like amazing people who are really just awesome. They just are awesome, and I appreciate them. And there's the few that make comments about me being gay and or me being Jewish, or they're not kind to one another. And, I think in my bio it says be kind to one another. And I just made
Mhm.
a video that said basically be kind to one another. I'll shut my page down, I will, because it has too many like followers at this point for me to feel comfortable promoting like, a page where people spew hatred. It's just I'm not gonna do that. Like I'll document it and then try to, post it all out there. It's like a long movie on YouTube or something.
It can be absolutely overwhelming, especially like you can make the smallest of comment on somebody else's post, because this is what I've experienced.
Right. And it's just like, not only that, but just spend your time differently. You know what I mean? Just spend your time differently than like sitting there looking through and being judgmental about every comment.
Right.
And I get immature. I can be really immature. So there are a few comments that I see where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna go in on you. Like, you have no idea. But I try to keep myself from doing that because it's not helpful.
No, it's not. And it's not good for the soul or
No,
your energy, to put your energy in all of that.
exactly, exactly. It's all about exactly. What you get is what you put out. So I try to
Exactly.
put kindness out. If I don't receive kindness, I just move along. It's the way to be. I don't always do the best, but
Hmm.
that's what I believe.
Now, what is your future outlook? Like, you've expressed that you want to keep the house, you want it to be something generational, that it can go to your daughter and her children and so on and so forth. What has your family said anything about that? Like, if you don't have to disclose it, if you don't want to, if you feel like if it's a private thing, I completely understand that. If they disagree with it in your mind, where do you see yourself maybe in the next year or so? Will you still be at the house?
That's a great question. Well, my career is domiciled here, so I have to be here.
Hmm.
My family, like my parents and my siblings and my in-laws, they're supportive of it. I think because it gained so much attention and me and I I feel like this is super corny, but I feel like I kind of found a missing piece of myself or something. Uh, I found something out about myself. Like I believe I have sensitivities to these things.
Hmm.
I want to explore it, and they support that. I think only because of this. And my wife really is the only one who, like, she's such a good woman, so she supports me, but she's pissed. She's always worried because I'm here, and
Yeah.
she's always worried. So I feel terrible, but she understands that, it's too beautifully intriguing. It's terrifying, but it's beautiful because there's so much more than we understand. And I intend to study the property. That's in 2 years. My goal is by that time I'll have like a film crew, people with doctorates in paranormal psychology and studies and paranormal investigators. And I want to I want to go into it. Like Skinwalker Ranch is what inspired me, actually.
Hmm.
I want to study this property and the surrounding properties. I really
Well, when I think about it, like, this is what goes through my mind, inviting different people from different walks of life that specialize in the paranormal. Do you have any, for lack of a better word, do you have any hard limits? Like, what are the things that you will not allow in the house? Like, one of my things is when I'm watching all of these different paranormal things, well, they were playing with an Ouija board, and I'm like, why? Stop playing with that shit. That's how you open the door.
I'm that person that, like, I want to play with the Ouija board, but my wife told me, and my friend who's a medium, not Smokey, who I'm going to be working with on researching all of this stuff and on paranormal investigations, but
Hmm.
another friend of mine who's a local here, who her boyfriend is the metal detector, who knows a bunch of stuff. But she told me if I ever touch a Ouija board, her and my wife they'll literally murder me. So I'm not touching a Ouija board anytime soon. And that's, yes, I won't allow that. Um, I mean, maybe like on the property line. I don't know. See, I'm so intrigued. Your cat scared
I
me.
know.
Really in your head. Um, no, there's really I'm not opposed to, having somebody come in with the Quran. I'm not opposed to having a priest. I'm not opposed to having a rabbi. I'm not opposed to mediums, investigators. I am skeptical. I didn't want people that, frankly, I don't believe people should believe 99% of what they see on TV.
Hmm.
There are things other than my safety and privacy that revolve around this property and the neighboring properties that I cannot disclose of
Right.
because they were national news, and it would be terrible to exploit that and the victims and their victims' sakes and their families' sake.
Of
That's
course.
all, and I don't know that, like, some of these famous people, everyone comments, like, "Get these people." The first thing that in my mind they would do is exploit that situation,
Hmm.
exploit the area because it's so famously haunted, and,
Right.
you know yeah, that's my fear, so
Well, the famous, what started off as the famous trio many years ago of the paranormal, and one unexpectedly left after 10 years, and I don't know if you know who I'm referring to, but I'll tell you this much. If they ever, well, Ghost Adventures.
okay,
Zach Bagans is like
yeah,
the, he loves to exploit shit. And I don't think that, again, this is my own personal opinion. Not like I'm hating Zach Bagans, because I love watching Ghost Adventures, but I think what they like to do is push to the very limits, regardless if you say, no, I don't want this, no, I don't want that. But you know what? You also have other paranormal people local within on YouTube that are very respectful of other
right,
people's property. And if they're willing to go there and respect your boundaries of what you don't want present, because you just never want to disturb. I mean, it sounds like even though the lights flicker on and off and like weird things happen and you catch things on your camera,
mm,
it doesn't seem to be at a point where if you open up another door that it's just going to invite other shit in there, which is going to be out of control. I was just going to say, did you ever follow Dude My House is Haunted?
yes, and is that the same person? Crap.
The
I
guy that then he had the girlfriend move in and the chairs were moving around and shit was getting thrown around.
Yeah, there's another one, Dino Nuggets. I don't think that's real.
You don't think Dude My House is Haunted is real?
Oh, I that one I no, I believe that might be real. I think so, but I'm thinking of Dino Nuggets, I think.
Oh, okay.
And
I've
I
heard of Dino Nuggets, but I can't remember like what his story is.
yeah, I could be wrong too. There's so much shit that happened here that I would say this girl is fucking faking this shit. Excuse my language. So I shouldn't be so skeptical, but I am still so skeptical. I can't help it.
But it's good to be that way. It's good to have the healthy, logical sense of trying to rule things out. I told you when we first initially talked about that incident that happened in my apartment, that I was waking up. I was awake. And my dog Lady at the time, she was alive. It was just me, her, and my cats. And I heard that voice come out of the closet and she started barking. She went to go and I held her back. And I just sat there on the bed for a minute, just to try and maintain my composure. And I said, well, maybe it's somebody in the fire escape. And I'm thinking, why would somebody be at the fire escape like
Right,
saying my name?
right, right,
And as soon as I started ruling these things out, oh, maybe it's the answering machine. And I'm like, you don't have an answering machine anymore.
right. It's like exactly. You run out of logical explanation. Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you do? Where do you go from there?
Right. Then
Like,
you pretty much figured out, okay, there's there was a voice that came out of your closet.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
know what, too? I think that it's important that you keep doing your research. Do you find that that just supersedes anything else, anything that anybody is thinking or saying, that it's more important for you to be able to stay on the path of what your intents are, what your intention is to do history, maybe do recordings of what it is that you found, just have your own writing so that you would have your own history book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nobody that, yeah, I'm on a path and there's nothing that is going to stand in my way. I'm going to research this property and that there's nothing that supersedes that, you know. It's
Well, just as long as you stay safe.
I promise. I'm like, the most it's mentally draining other than like being sleep deprived. Just wondering, like I was outside earlier, just putting the chickens away, and it's mentally draining every night to think like, what did I just hear? What did I just see? Um,
Mhm.
sometimes it's nothing, but it's still like I think I saw something. Sometimes I do see something, and it's
Right.
I thought I just saw something just now,
Mhm.
but there's my lights are on and the windows are reflecting, I see myself, so that makes no sense. So
Yeah.
um, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's mentally draining for that reason exactly. That was a perfect example. Like
Mhm.
it's just constant back and forth and internal dialogue, of, you know, it's
What's real and what's not real.
exactly, exactly. And it's
Well, my thing is like I just don't want you to be alone. Well,
exactly.
you did set up a merch now because we're going to get ready to close out this interview. You did set up a merch store, jberarihaunting.myshopify.com.
Yes.
So, in essence, now that you have all of this experience, your goal is to do investigations other than doing the history in your house, do investigations outside of where you live at.
Yeah, while we're investigating the property, the surrounding areas, and the locations that are also haunted and related to this property, uh,
Hmm.
we'll be taking requests from people to go investigate other places, and we'd ultimately really like to help people. Like if somebody's experiencing what I'm experiencing, and they really like they need help and they don't know who to reach out to, like
Right.
I'd be happy to travel to somebody and help them, and they don't need to do anything, or I would
Hmm.
be just happy. I would love to help people. Ultimately, I don't know how good I can do. My house is still haunted, but you know
Well, Jen, I want to thank you for being on this episode of Unfiltered, the
yeah,
interview portion. I definitely want to have you back and follow up in the next couple of months and see what you found, what histories you found relating to the property, what else has happened. And I will be putting all of the links down below in the description box so that you can follow her on social media, and of course support her merch because you just have to get it. You can't like just not get it.
Thank you, and please keep in touch. Thank you for having me. I think you're awesome. I keep doing what you're doing, and
Thank
I
you.
hope we keep in contact. You're cool. You're cool.
Yes, we are definitely keeping in contact. I may write a little bit too much, but you have my phone number, so now you know.
All right, perfect. We're good to go.
You
So I'll
can
talk
always
to you
text me.
soon.
So let me close out and say I want to thank everybody for taking the time out and watching this episode. If you've had experience with the paranormal, please do hit me up on my email. It's mblueunfiltered@gmail.com. We want to hear your stories, and maybe Jen will give you a visit and see if she can help you out with your hauntings. And with all that being said, always remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody. Is what
Right.
it is now.
Right.
That just freaked me out.
This is literally what happens all the time at her house. Like,
oh my God, you scared me.
Sorry. So here's the light switch here. I don't know if you can really see. It's pretty dark, and there's nobody here.
Where are your cats? Do they ever
Good
get
question.
scared?
Where are the boys? They're always with me, so that's a great question. Oh, I found one of them. Okay. Sorry, forgot the camera's pointing on me. Here's Dwight.
Aww. Hi,
Yeah.
Dwight.
Say hi, buddy. You okay? You dealing with this okay? They seem to be like, sorry, I'm a little rattled.
Did you feel at some point that all of these things were happening?
And then there's like little structures like this potting shed. And then there's, those lights should not be on.
That's when I had the nightmares.
That is this cottage.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you had the nightmare. Okay. I'm like waiting for something to happen. Do you hear that? Did you hear that?
I heard something. It was a light on. I thought I saw a head.
That's like the fucking woodshed. Hello?
Who just made that noise?
You heard that, right? Well, it was on. It went. Okay, do you see it?
That light just turned on. Go back.
Yes,
Go
you
back.
see
Go
it.
back.
Okay, sorry, the
it's going
camera's
on and off.
backwards
On
here.
and off.
Okay, the camera's backwards here. Okay, you see
Who's
that?
in there? Who's in there right now? Nobody?